Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We did a video yesterday showing how an old folks' home in Paisley was going to be closed against the wishes of the locals, simply to try and save a little bit of money. Money that should not have needed to be saved had Paisley decided that it didn't need to freeze council tax. But it isn't just this old people's home in Paisley. It's all over Scotland. And we've got a story here about East Renfrewshire, and it is pretty bad as well, and it goes to show the direct harm really that cuts have on people, especially vulnerable people. And it just seems to be that the SNP, in whichever level you're looking at, nationally or locally, just don't care about people. Independence is all it's about. People can die, people can go homeless, people can suffer. And that's okay, so long as the wet dream of independence is maintained, even though deep down they know it's unlikely ever to happen. Let's take a look at this to see why another one is falling. Another council freezing its council tax is leading to more suffering. Here goes. So East Renfrewshire health and social care cuts that are planned due to difficult budget. And by difficult budget, I mean they've got no money. The reason, of course, they haven't got any money is because Humza Yousaf is a man with a terrible speech at conference and who decided on the spur of the moment to freeze council tax. And because this inadequate man came up with this wonderful, brilliant idea out of the blue to make his speech better, these people are about to suffer. Board members will meet tomorrow morning. And that'll be yesterday, so they've met now, to set a budget for the coming year. But the report warns the process has never been more difficult because they've never been this poor before. With a major drop in the money given to them by central government and an imposed by central government council tax freeze, something's got to give. And if you're going to give, well, let's just make the vulnerable suffer. They can't fight back, can they? Health and social care bosses in East Renfrewshire are set to agree a package of cuts to help plug a funding gap of almost £10 million. Jobs are expected to go, and social care support will continue to be prioritised to those in substantial or critical need to save money. Yeah, but I bet their wages are still going up. I bet the old council salaries are still going to go up, aren't they? I don't mean the workers. I mean the actual councillors. They'll pay themselves a little bit more. Their allowances will go up and things like that because, you know, it's not them that's going to suffer, is it? Last thing that will happen. The Areas Integration Joint Board, the IJB, a partnership between the council and the NHS, which directs the health and social care partnership, will meet on Wednesday morning, yesterday, to set a budget for 24-25. Now, they met, and it's not mentioned in this piece, of course, because this piece was written prior to it, but yeah, they pushed through all the expected cuts. And we'll have a look at them now. But it is horrific, the things they're proposing to cut. Now, there's whole families are going to be devastated by these cuts. Leslie Baird, the HSCP's Chief Financial Officer, has reported the challenge of delivering a balanced budget, whilst trying to minimise the impact on the people we support has never been more difficult, she says. There's been a funding shortfall of £9.8 million. Her report to the board adds, "We will not achieve the required level of savings without impact on our workforce." In other words, Humza Yousaf's bright idea will make people unemployed and those who need services will suffer. That's the real effect. Now, if you're an SNP supporter in East Renfrewshire and you're impacted by this, just think to yourself, yeah, that's what I wanted when I voted for the SNP. I wanted these cuts. I wanted people made unemployed. I wanted, the vulnerable to suffer more, because it's obvious and important that Humza Yousaf is made to feel good because he's absolutely useless at his job. But it's okay. These people who lose their job, they'll probably never work again. But hey, who cares, eh? Who cares? She said, "We aim to mitigate the impact as far as possible and hope we can achieve the majority, if not all, staff changes through turnover and attrition. However, Service redesign and redeployment will be required. Redesign and redeployment is, compulsory redundancy and closing whole departments. Funding for the health and social care services are provided by the board's two partners, the council and the NHS. Pressures facing the HSCP include pay, inflation, an increasing population, and the demand and the cost of prescribing. Savings of just over 8.9 million are outlined in the budget papers, with a further 800,000 already complete. Redesign proposals are currently being worked on to save another 2 million. Now, they make it sound, oh, well, we'll just save 2 million there, save 1 million there. We'll trim the fat. There is no fat. You're actually just cutting meat now. You're cutting the heart out of these people. It is impacting terribly. And for what? To give Humza Yousaf his little fizzing hard-on. But look at me, I throw council tax. Meaning, really, in a sense that the rich have benefited at the cost of the poor, and the wealthy are benefiting at the cost of the vulnerable. That's the true outcome of what he's done. Because he needed something, didn't he? He had that speech and he needed something, because it was, to put no too fine a point on it, it was shit. But then everything he does, is like that. He is a reverse Midas. Everything he touches turns to crap. Anyway, Phase 1 of a voluntary severance early retirement programme is reported to have saved around £780,000, with a second stage targeting £300,000 of savings. A redesign of childcare services is also planned to save almost £400,000, and changes to prescribing initiatives are expected to save over £600,000. A saving to prescribing initiatives. In other words, let's not sign off on medicines. Let's not give people as much medicine as perhaps they need. Save us a bit of money, but, if they have to suffer a bit more, that's fine. There is a plan to top slice supplies budgets by 20% to save $920,000, and a working group has considered charges for services with an income of $200,000 listed. The report adds that the budget proposals will allow the IJB to set a budget that is balanced but clearly indicates significant risk in delivering services whilst achieving the required levels of savings. What's sad, and they actually have it here, is it also states the challenges are not unique to East Renfrewshire, and that, I'm afraid, is the problem, because we're using East Renfrewshire here as an example. But up and down the entire country, budgets are being cut, and ultimately and usually it's going to be the vulnerable, because they're the ones that the most money gets spent on. So they're the ones that they can save the biggest amount. Humza Yousaf, a man who harms the vulnerable. Is that his true legacy? I wonder how many people will die because of these cuts to care. Each one of them, I would suggest, corporate homicide. He knew in advance that people would suffer, people would die, and he still did it. Coming up. I don't know, I kind of imagine Humza Yousaf must sit at night laughing and giggling and thinking, haha, that'll show him. He's either evil or just simply amoral. He certainly knows the effects of what he's doing. He'll have been told outright that this will harm this people, this will harm those people, people will suffer, and he knows this. But what he thinks is, yeah, but I've got to have a win, I've got to have something. And simply by having this council tax freeze, it makes it look as though I'm a leader. But we all know he's not. He's a knob. And people are dying because this dickless wonder can't write a decent speech. I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.